Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh, Extra Barbecue Halfkin, and I am excited for week 2 of the MAEC Rocket League regular season. And I'm here with my friends John and Joey. John, Joey, how are you guys doing this evening?
Oh, we're hanging in there. Pumped to be back for week 2 of the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. We got some amazing action last week. I'm pumped for week 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week was phenomenal. I don't expect anything different this week, except maybe a few longer series. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be here with you guys again. Hopefully everybody knows who you guys are, but if they don't, can you go ahead and tell them who you guys are and how to follow you guys online?
Yeah, Joey, I did it last week. It's your turn for week 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We're podcasters here in the DMV. We do a lot of casting as well. OTN Media is the name. You can find us at OTN Media on most platforms except Instagram. We have a little underscore in there. It's at OTN_media. Lots of entertainment and production in both sports, esports, and gaming. We'd love to have you come to the community and hang out.
I love it. You guys are the best. If anybody needs, casters or just wonderful gentlemen to hang out with, I know John and Joey could be booked mainly for the casting. I don't know for the friendship. You'll have to work that out individually. But we're going to get into it. We got a beautiful day here. It's gorgeous. The sun's setting down. We got a beautiful, like, kind of orange amber hue out there, and it looks beautiful. So let's get into things. John, what's going on tonight, man?
I don't know. I heard there's like some collegiate Rocket League happening here in the DMV, which is pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. Like, I don't think of a better way you can spend your Wednesday night. I mean, the Nationals had a doubleheader earlier today. That's over. So what are you going to do to hang out the rest of the night? You're going to watch some collegiate Rocket League here at the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. Which is brand new. We talked a little bit about it last week also, Josh. It's a brand new conference here through Game Gym and Events DC. What exactly is the goal of the MAEC and some of the missions and the objective here of this league?
Nice. So for those joining us, hopefully you joined us last week. So we're going to be doing these every Wednesday and then every Saturday. We've got matches for the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. We have 13 awesome colleges, universities, public, private, community, all different kind of shapes, sizes, battling it out in 3 different games: Rocket League, League of Legends, and Overwatch over the next 7 weeks now, building towards our Spring Summit Championships, May 14th to the 16th. The main goals that we're trying to do is make sure that the kids who are in college and grinding so hard at their esports get all the spotlight and time in the sun. We also want to make sure that these universities who are building this awesome esports programs get make sure everybody knows that we've got awesome opportunities here in the DMV.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing stuff going on at the MAEC, excuse me. With that being said, Josh, we know some of the big sponsors, obviously Game Gym's involved in Events DC. Do they have any other events currently going on that you want to advertise as well?
Yeah, so we got to give love to Events DC. They're the premier host of conventions, sports, and entertainment and cultural events in the Washington DC area. They also sponsor our good friends, the Washington Justice, and national or world champion, Wizards District Gaming as well. So they're a great organization, and they have a new cool platform called Gather. Gather is a place where you can experience DC from anywhere. In this time of COVID, maybe you can't come over to DC. They have a lot of on-demand and live virtual programs led by local artists, businesses, organizations, and other thought leaders. It's really cool. And when you go there right now, there's a little splash page that says, check out the District Esports League, which is another thing that we do with them. So they're promoting us, and they're awesome. So definitely check them out at eventsdc.com.
Absolutely. Any other Game Gym news you want to cover before we continue on moving into the MAEC action?
Game Gym news. I'm just really excited for summer. We're building an awesome summer camp program. We've got a ton of Minecraft, a ton of Rocket League, all the FPS games. I just ordered our summer camp T-shirts over the little bit, and they're on their way. So John, Joey, I'm gonna make sure to get you guys one of those. They're pretty dope. You guys will dig it.
Absolutely excited for that. But before we get to Summer, Josh, we have the Spring Summit. There's a rumor of something exciting addition coming to Spring Summit. What is that?
Yeah, so we partnered with the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. These guys are the people who are trying to bring awareness to the fact that Northern Virginia has over 100,000 tech jobs available, all with really, really great starting salaries. And these jobs are available actually currently today. But as part of the Spring Summit, we're going to be putting together a job fair and attaching a job fair onto the Spring Summit so that, if you love tech, and you're interested in working in the area, we have all of these wonderful tech jobs available. We have Amazon coming, and there's only going to be more. No joke, 100,000 tech jobs available in Northern Virginia, and you can check them out at workinnorthernvirginia.com. Again, workinnorthernvirginia.com. So it'll be pretty cool. We got a really cool thing. Hopefully, people get some awesome jobs, and hopefully they have some nice salaries too.
I'll tell you what, I'll be one of those people applying for jobs on there. It sounds pretty nice working in IT there, so I'll definitely have to check that out. But again, we're adding that on to the Spring Summit. What exactly is the Spring Summit? It's a massive event. It's part of that DMV Triple Crown of esports. But what is it, and why is it such a big event coming up?
So the Spring Summit acts as our championships. What we saw at the grassroots level is we had all these competitions, but what were we building to? What were we leading to? And so Game Gym and Events DC have partnered again to create these three events: the Summer Bash, the Winter Games, and the Spring Summit. And our goal is to give people a test, give people a championship, give people a summit, for lack of better terms, to climb and a reason to train. So we've got thousands of dollars in prize money. We've got awesome HyperX gear. We've got casting from OTN all weekend. And we also have a number of other surprises and other cool things that we're going to be unveiling over the next couple weeks. We have speakers lined up from some of the most prominent places, companies and businesses in gaming and esports. So we're going to have awesome speakers during the day, the best esports in the DMV at night, and I'm really excited for it. It's going to be our biggest event yet, and I'm really excited that you guys will be there, and hopefully all those folks at home, you guys will be there with us too.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I enjoy the most, not just the esport competition that occurs later in the afternoon, but a lot of those talks are really helpful. You bring in a lot of industry pros, a lot of people with experience in esports, in gaming, and other kind of communities that have a reach into the gaming community as well. One of the talks that we had at the Winterfest was on mental health in gaming, which is something that's thankfully becoming more and more prevalent here, mental health awareness in society. That was one of my favorite talks that I've seen happen at one of these events. And I believe you had the gamer doc come in, and she was absolutely fantastic. She talked about mental health, physical health, nutrition. I know that's part of the mission of the game gym as well. Is it's not just playing better, but it's also that mental aspect, that physical aspect of it, because gamers, there's that negative stereotype that they sit at home, they're not active, but it's really far from the truth. You take a look at a lot of gamers, it's actually quite the opposite, but it's still a positive message to send about being healthy, not just in mind and body, but also in game.
You're totally right. I think that we're all starting to think of gaming and gamers holistically, and I think the Spring Summit's a wonderful opportunity to showcase that. Like you said, we had panels on mental health, we had panels on inclusion and diversity, we had panels involving music, we had panels or speakers involving music, we had music, we had panels or sorry presenters on accessibility and things like that. We're really trying to help our whole community understand that gaming is much bigger than just one little part of it, and esports leans heavily into understanding the values of good physical health, good mental health, having balance in your life. Just like running or swimming or gymnastics, esports can throw your life out of balance, and you got to make sure that you have structures in place, that you've got great coaches in place, and that you're doing things the right way, because people get burned out in traditional sports, people get burned out in esports, but we have a lot of resources for traditional sports, and we're only now with people like the gamer doc, um, you know starting to have those wonderful resources for our community. And it's very cool because, one, we need it, but two, um, what an opportunity. Here are people and who have, these wonderful expertise who now get to apply them to a new field. And 20 years from now, 50 years from now, GamerDoc is going to be like, the number one authority in esports health. I mean, she already is, but she's going to be even more so after writing, a billion books and papers and things like that. So, I think that there's such a cool opportunity. It's like you and your skill plus time in this space is just going to lead to success. And I think that that's something I always tell the kids out there, that there's so many opportunities, and we're seeing people take advantage of it and create these new avenues like GamerDoc. So um, Spring Summit's going to be awesome. We got more really cool panels coming up, and I'm really excited, and I'm excited for you guys to be part of it too. It's always a blast to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, cool. I didn't want to cut Joey off if he didn't want to jump in there or anything. Yeah, no, it's always great coming up to the Game Gym up there in Maryland. We're down here in the V part of the DMV in Virginia. It's always great crossing the Potomac and hanging out with our friends in Maryland and celebrating gaming, esports, and all the amazing topics out there as well. So I know I'm not going to speak on behalf of Joey. He's sitting over there nice and quiet, but I know I'm excited for the Spring Summit coming up.
He's
Oh yeah,
saving his voice
absolutely.
for
It's
later.
a wonderful event for sure. I mean, it's one of those events where you just bring great competition together. I think we had Valorant and Rocket League last time around. Smash is now involved as well. It's a way for people to elevate their competition, show us the best teamwork they can bring the skills to the table, as well as learn from all these amazing personalities on these panels.
100%. And the cool thing too is we keep on getting bigger and bigger each year. Summer Bash was awesome. Started off with a couple tournaments. I think we had 250 competitors. Now we have more tournaments. We have the championships of the District Esports League, the championships of the MAEC. We will be running 2 streams pretty much all weekend from the Game Gym channel and the MAEC channel, and it's going to be a blast. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to hop off here, and then John and Joey are going to break down last week, talk a little bit about this week, and then we're going to get into these matches for this evening. So want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Want to thank John and Joey. You guys are the best, and I really appreciate you guys bringing your energy to the evening. And I know all the players appreciate it as well. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys in chat.
Resources, even for kids out there, like this game gym where you can see gamers are here to be coached, hone their skills, but they can also find a mentor that teaches them about moderation.
Trying to deal with the 3 angry zombies members that are on.
Nova looking to clear it out. Strong aggression here from Chungite Egg.
Martial arts skills, too. That back there was so good, so powerful.
Who's ready for some fireworks?
Introducing the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, co-founded by Events DC and Game Gym. We're bringing you a competition to showcase the amazing college esports talent found right here in the DMV. Schools from Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. face off in 8 weeks of intense matches, featuring Rocket League, Overwatch, and League of Legends. only one can be the best. So who are you cheering for? Check out MAEC.gg for more information on the teams, the games, and the future of esports in the DMV.
And welcome back to the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, week 2 of the regular season for Rocket League action. My name is John Fiasco Byram. Joey Courtside King McDermott is joining me. As always, we are a team, and we are here from OTN Media. Thank you all for tuning in for week 2. We're going to give you a quick little recap of what you might have missed in week 1. Don't worry, you don't have to have FOMO. I'm pretty sure there's, the VOD you can go back, or you can just get this quick little summary here. Joey, it was absolutely fantastic. Last week we had 5 amazing matches. One match just postponed. We're going to give an update here. That's going to be postponed to week 6. That's going to be Randolph versus George Mason's B team. That will be made up on week 6. But regardless, 5 amazing games that we saw last week. It was absolutely fantastic. A lot of them did go 3-0 sweeps in the best of 5 series. But Joey, we closed last week out with a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. Going best of 5 in that final game. George Washington taking the win over Shenandoah B 3-2. But yeah, overall, John, I feel like we saw a little bit of everything. We had the 3-0 series. We had the game 4. That was VCU and Catholic White. VCU winning that one 3-1. Then we had Shenandoah B and George Washington going the distance for that best of 5. Overall, some really good Rocket League action. Some good adjustments being made from game to game with a lot of these different teams as well. And I'm curious to see the adjustments they make throughout the course of the season now moving from week 1 to week 2.
Absolutely, and we saw some of these colleges and universities come out and really be the front runners. For as much as we can tell after 1 week, all these teams are incredibly talented. A lot of different play styles we saw come out from a lot of these universities and colleges as well. Nova really kicked it off with a bang. Northern Virginia Community College, a 3-0 sweep. It was a very, very impressive sweep over Catholic University of America's Red Squad. They were very aggressive. They pushed up quite a bit, and they were not afraid to score. Their rotations were great. They were able to get back on defense. But Joey, this is definitely a team that I think may have taken some people by surprise. Nova just coming out there with all that power in their first series.
Yeah, it's really tough to tell, to be honest, just because we don't know how they match up against other teams as of yet. But yeah, definitely some teams looking very potent in week 1. Just to go down the list, we had Howard Community College going 3-0 up against Shenandoah's A team. Hood College fell to GMU's A team 0-3. Catholic Red, as you said, didn't come out on top as Northern Virginia took that one with Nova going 3-0. Then we had that Randolph and GMU B team rescheduled for week 6. Catholic White fell to VCU 3-1, and then Shenandoah B with that very close game going to that game 5, but in the end, GW squeezing it out for that 3-2 victory.
And GW with the first reverse sweep after falling 2-0 in the first 2 games against Shenandoah's B squad. George Washington storming all the way back, leading the team to that sweet reverse sweep that we all love to see in esports. It was a very exciting comeback, especially after a night of a lot of 3-0s. Just being able to see that reverse sweep to cap off the night was definitely a sweet way to end week 1.
Now, yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be very similar this week. I'm curious to see if we have any sweeps in general, but just continuing to see as teams go up against different opponents, how they continue to change those tactics up. And again, growth throughout the season, but seeing them up against different opponents will give us at least a better idea of where these teams actually stand in the full standings.
All right. So looking forward to week 2. I'm going to slide my graphic over here so I can take a better look here for everyone. Game 1 today is going to be Howard Community College going up against Catholic University's Red team. Should be a very interesting matchup here, Joey. Any insight here onto what to expect here in our first match of the evening?
Going off last week, Howard looked dominant. Catholic did not look so good in their first match. Howard going 3-0. Catholic going 0-3. So I'm curious to see, is Howard as good as they looked in week 1? Is Catholic, again, their series was pretty close. It did go 0-3 on the scoreboard, but I feel like it was very back and forth. There were definitely opportunities for Catholic to come out on top of that one. Unfortunately, falling that 0-3. But again, I think they could be some competition for Howard. I do think overall Howard is probably the better team going into this one and is probably favored on most people's list, but I could see Catholic taking a game or 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see how Catholic University's Red team builds upon what they were able to achieve there in week 1. Some games not as close in that series. Other games, you could see how their growth progressed over the series. So I'm really looking forward to see if this unit, this team for the red team for Catholic University of America, is able to build upon that momentum that they were able to gain and the building blocks they got from week one, take that into week two, and hopefully put forward a winning week there for themselves as well. Game 3 features George Mason University's C team. George Mason University with 3 teams in the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. They'll be taking on Hood College. Just recapping last week, Hood College did lose to George Mason's A team. And again, we don't know if A, B, and C means, ranks of like, best, second best, third best. But they did lose to Mason's A team 3-0 as well. While the C team, if I can go through the notes here, I'm not showing the C team having.
I believe they had a bye last week.
Yes, they did have a bye last week. So it'll be the first time seeing George Mason's C team come into action as well. What can we expect from at least Hood College here going into this matchup?
Honestly, John, it's still so early in the season. Again, it's pretty tough to tell here. I think the biggest thing to look for is what is GMU's C team going to bring to the field today? Are they going to be uber talented? Is this a C squad that's going to come out here and absolutely stun people coming off of a bye? Or is Hood College, maybe they just drew a tough opponent in round one? Maybe they're going to be one of the better teams in the season throughout. But again, it was a very tough week one for Hood. I'm curious to see how that does translate up against a new opponent in GMUC, who we haven't seen, and we don't know if Hood has seen them play either.
Yeah, I'm really kind of curious, what kind of communication does the Mason teams have together? Did the A team come back after week one and meet up with their C team, be like, hey, look, here's the key to success against Hood. This is how we were able to 3-0 them. This is how we're able to dominate them, so on and so forth. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of communication George Mason may have had with all of their teams together to see if maybe they're in it for the long run, to see if they can get all 3 teams to the playoffs, and then it's may the best team of George Mason win. But I'd be kind of curious to see if Mason's C team learned from George Mason's A team from last week as well. After that, George Washington University, the reverse sweep comeback kings so far of week one, going up against VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, the Rams down in Richmond, Joey. VCU, let's see here. 3-1 over Catholic White last week. VCU, a very solid performance as well. George Washington, I mean, you feel like they're one of those teams, again, after week one, purely speculation based upon 1 week of results here. Being down 2-0 was a death sentence last week. Not for George Washington. They were able to come back. Being down 2-0, their backs against the wall for every single game along the way. The pressure was building up to them, and they responded perfectly. VCU 3-1 in their series. They were the only other series that wasn't a 3-0 sweep last week. So VCU has to be feeling pretty good about their week one result. But George Washington, this is a team that VCU is going to have to look out for, because they may go up 2-0 on them, but you cannot sleep on George Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'd go as far as to call this the match of the week as well, John. George Washington, VCU, both getting wins in week one. Again, very little data to work off so far with the season still being so young, but both teams showed talent. You saw the resiliency in George Washington coming back in that series, but also VCU being able to close out that series 3-1 instead of allowing it to go to a game 5. So overall, I think these two teams are going to come out with a lot of prowess. They both play very aggressive overall, and I think we're going to continue to see that aggression adapt throughout this series, but it should be a very good game to watch.
And then the fun matchup, Shenandoah University's B team going up against Randolph-Macon College's B team as well. Looking here at my notes, Shenandoah B lost to George Washington in that reverse sweep. They went up 2-0. Very solid performance in game 1 and game 2. But George Washington came storming back here. But for Randolph-Macon College, their B team, they were part of the game that was not aired last week. They didn't play due to technical issues. So it's going to be kind of a surprise box with what we're going to see for them here in their first time playing in week 2. But really, what I'm looking for here in this matchup is Shenandoah B team. Are they going to be able to bounce back after being up 2-0 and then being reversed up by VCU? Is that something they're going to be able to move on from? Are they going to be able to learn from their mistakes that caused that 3-game reverse sweep? Are they going to be able to build upon it and hopefully close out a series here? It can be really mentally taxing on players when you're up that much and then all of a sudden it just slips away.
Yeah, absolutely. Two big factors here. One, Randolph-Macon is making their debut, as you said, John. We don't know too much of what that team brings to the table, so it'll be curious to see how that plays out here in week 1. The other one being Shenandoah B, like you said, that reverse sweep. You had George Washington down 0-2. Shenandoah had that chance to close out that series and take the 3-0 victory. In the end, George Washington won game 3. Then they won game 4, and they were close games. Shenandoah is still competitive in these games, but in the end, George Washington going on that reverse sweep, taking that 3-2 overall, which is huge. It's tough for momentum. Now Shenandoah has to overcome that, as you said, mentally. They're coming in. They almost closed out with a week 1 victory. They got taken out right at the end in that reverse sweep, and now they have to push forward and bring themselves fresh into a new week. How can we build upon that? How can we make sure that doesn't happen next time? I think they're going to do pretty well this week. I think they'll find maybe another lead, but again, it's tough to tell not knowing how Randolph plays as of yet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to be able to. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how they're going to be able to bounce back from that, just from that mental perspective as well. We're going to see what kind of team Shenandoah's B team really is here in week 2 if they're able to bounce back from that week 1 reverse sweep to to George Washington. And then our last matchup tonight, Joey. Again, 5 matchups tonight with 1 game. The George Mason A team and the Shenandoah University A team. That will be rescheduled for week 3.
Just going to hop in here. It looks like this last match is going to be rescheduled as well, John. GMUB and Catholic White will not be played tonight either now.
Oh, look at that. Live updates on the notes. So it looks like we are going to be going down to 4 matchups. So no need to recap the George Mason University B team and Catholic University White team matchup. As of yet, that will be rescheduled. As soon as we have an updated time of when that match will be scheduled, we will bring that to you here as well. Joey, week 1 was an absolute barn burner. It was heating up, and just like the weather outside in the mid to high 80s today, Joey, I expect week 2 to be just as hot here in the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference.
Absolutely, John. I love talking standings. I love talking results. I love previewing matches to come, but there's nothing like actually watching the action. I'm stoked to get game 2, week 2, all underway, John. There should be some really good action today. Again, lots of good teams here. In particular, George Washington up against VCU should be a very good matchup to watch later in the night. A lot of potency between those 2 teams. 2 teams that came out and did win their week 1 series as well. I'm curious to see how they go head-to-head so early on in the season.
All right. So with that, we have a lot in store here for you in week 2. Our first matchup of the night is going to be Howard Community College going up against Catholic University of America's red team. Should be a very exciting matchup there. You're not going to want to miss it. If you missed week 1, again, check out the VOD when you have time, but not right now because that means you might miss week 2. I don't want you to miss week 2. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So we're going to kick week 2 off here in just a few moments, but first we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors, and make sure you do not go anywhere. This is the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference Rocket League regular season.